Hey everybody, Joe Davis here. I've had a lot of people reaching out to me asking me about what I'm taking on my elk hunt this year. We are doing a pack-in elk hunt. We are T-minus just a couple more days and we'll be hitting the hills. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to go through all my gear, talk about what I've got, what I'm bringing with me, what I'm not bringing with me, and hopefully that'll help you out in your hunt. When it comes to gear, the biggest thing I would tell you is just buy the best gear that you can afford, right? There's nothing worse than being stuck on the mountain with really bad gear. My brother and I had a really bad hunt back in 2017 where it rained and snowed on us and we had bad gear. It just wasn't a pleasant experience. So when we're packing in on these elk hunts, there's not an easy way to get access to anything if we don't have it with us. But if we bring everything with us, our pack's going to be way too heavy. So it's kind of a balance between what we're going to bring, what we're not going to bring. So for me, I'm going to start with what I'm not going to bring. Knowing the area that I'm going to be in, stuff that I'm not going to bring is something like this. Now I know for Western big game hunting, having a spotting scope is definitely like a must-have. This is my Nikon scope. This is a Nikon, or excuse me, this is a Vortex scope. Forgive me. This is my Vortex scope. This is a Vortex Summit Carbon 2 tripod, and it's really light. But overall, this thing is really, really heavy. But more importantly, the area that we go elk hunting in, it is so unbelievably dense that this is not as useful as it would be in other areas where I've hunted, say like up in eastern Montana, where something like this was extraordinarily useful. So this is not coming with me. Let me get that out of the way. Believe it or not, I'm going to start actually with my glasses. So this is the Bino harness by Muley Freak. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. But my Nikon, I keep saying Nikon, my Vortex glasses that I have here, these things are phenomenal. Again, really good for long distance. These are great for my rifle, and while I can use them for my bow as well, they're really, really heavy. And again, the area that I'm going into, it is just so unbelievably dense that I really don't need this for this trip. So sorry, Muley Freak, not going to take this gear with me on this trip. Next month, we'll definitely be using this. So this one's going to be pass as well. What I am going to bring with me, and kind of dig into this a little bit. I'm not going through this in any particular order, but we'll get into the gear here a little bit. This is a Badlands Bino harness that I take with me. This one I will take. The reason why I take it is because it's light, it's small, and it does just fit my rangefinder. I've got a Leupold rangefinder here that I use. This works perfect for the area that I'm going to be in. Honestly, the areas that we'll be glassing, at most we get maybe 100 yards visibility. So this is going to be exactly what I need. And then inside of this, I can take a variety of different items. I do like it. It's magnetic. I know some guys don't really like that. I've never had a problem with it. But inside of here, I can keep some of my gear, something like this. And actually, I'll just jump on that right now. This is a Pyro Putty fire starter. Love these things because they're powered by USB. And so when you open that baby up, I've got another one. So this one right here, there we go. So when we get that thing nice and open, we get into it. You can see that arc. So need of a fire. Now, I'm not planning on needing a fire where we're going, but you never know. I have used that in the past in late winter hunts. So that'll fit in there. And other things that'll come in here, things like my release for my bow. So the release that I'm going to be shooting is this Scott release here. Forget the name of it. I'm going to have links for this in the description so you can go through and read on it. But I just switched to this release. I've shot this kind of release for years. Really happy with it. But I am going to have this guy as a backup. Taking two, because again, you never know. This will fit really well in my Bino harness. Doesn't add a lot of weight. Other things that I can throw in here. Some of my other gear that's over here we'll get into in a second. So Bino harness, definitely coming with me. Other things are going to come with me as well too. So I'm just grabbing stuff as I see it. Water filtration system. I don't even know how to say it right. Katadyn is the one that I've got here. And so this filter, I've used it for a few years. It's pretty good. Easy to maintain, easy to clean. Just it has the hoses there. I'm washing those hoses right now. Just give it a good pump and it'll do its job. The area where we hunt has a lot of water, which is really good because it can be dry here in Utah, and will be good for water. So definitely taking that. Water bottle, using a Stanley cup, has a straw in it. I know some guys don't like that, but this Cup's rugged, I've used it for years, and again, really good. Other stuff taken with me, again, starting from the ground up when it comes to boots, same thing as I said earlier. Buy the best gear you can afford. The boots that I'm going to be taking with me, these are Danners. Forget the model of them. Again, I'll have a link. You can take a look at it. I like these because they're lightweight, but they also keep my feet warm. I've used them in the winter, and they keep my feet dry. Yeah, good lightweight boots. I've had bad boots in the past. You've had bad boots that give you blisters and tear your feet up. That'll pretty much ruin your hunt, so don't want to have that happening. But as far as gear and clothing, I'm not going to go into my clothing very much. I do have some clothing that I will go into. Some of the things that I do take with me again on these trips that are kind of a must-have is, again, this area that we hunt, there is some water and it can get kind of marshy sometimes. So good pair of gaiters. I take these with me to keep my pants from getting completely soaked. And so those will come in handy potentially. Good pair of gloves, have that. And then I have this net gaiter that I like to use. It's legitimately just a piece of cloth. It was made by Killick. So if you can see that, there's something about a net gaiter. You know, this time of year in September, in the mornings, it can be just frigid cold, frost on the ground, and by the afternoon, it's gonna be like 85 degrees. You just really don't know what to expect. It snowed on us last year. This kind of equipment just around my neck just makes all the difference in those cold early mornings. Again, good little cap. This is a really lightweight beanie. Again, not my deep winter beanie, but I will take this with me as well too. And then while we're on the topic of gear, clothing anyways, rain gear. This is Sitka gear. Again, buy the best stuff you can afford. This rain gear, I really like it because it's got the zippers on the sides, so I can put it on, take it on and off without having to completely disrobe. Overall though, fantastic rain gear. Buy the best stuff you can afford. This is what I've got. My pack. So the pack that I've got, this thing expands out, can haul a ton of gear, can put, you know, we've packed elk out on it in years past, packed deer out on it too. And I'll have all my gear in here. I think I've got a jacket in there right now, but everything will fit in here nice and neat. I think the only thing that won't fit is like my sleeping bag probably won't fit on the outside. It'll fit on the inside, so I'll just strap that to the outside as I'm packing in and out. But you know, we'll have more footage when we actually do the hunt, and hopefully we'll have a successful hunt, so we'll have some good footage there too. But again, this is the pack I'll be using here. Sleeping bag, going back and forth. Right now I've got this one. This one's done by Teton Sports. It's a mummy bag, keeps me super warm and pillow. My business partner, he's going to be having a much better pillow than I have, but this is the one I'm going to use. Again, this will just fit right good on the back. So I used to make fun of guys that use trekking poles until we hauled out an elk a couple years ago and we had trekking poles, and it made all the difference. So I am taking a pair of trekking poles, but more importantly, these trekking poles actually are part of my tent. And so I'll talk about my tent here in just a second. But these are black diamond poles. These things can get super expensive again, but these have served me well over the last couple of years, and I hope they'll continue to do so. And so yeah, a set of trekking poles. So this is the Seek Outside Guardian 2-man tent. I've got another video that you can find that I did a review on this, and it's legitimately like a 2-man tent. You know how sometimes you get tents and they say it's a 3-man tent, but it's really like a 1-man plus his gear. There's no way you can get like 3 full-size adults in there. This is a great tent. It's a floorless tent. It has a stove jack in it. My buddy Rob, he's got a stove, so we may or may not need to use that. Like I said, it snowed on us last year, so we'll see what happens. But super, super lightweight. It's not going to take up any space. In fact, it's smaller than my sleeping bag. Pretty happy with that. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my mat. Right now, I've got 2 that I'm looking at. I have slept on this, and these have served me well. And I probably will just use it because it is so light and small. It's through Climate. It's called the Static V2. I think they're made here locally. And then this one right here is the Kilo Skier pad. And this one I like because it's almost 80 inches long. So it's super, super long. And then this one right here, this one's about 72 inches long. So it's not quite as large. This one's easier to take down and put up. This one is a lot bigger. Size difference, not much difference. I think I probably will go with this one because I just like, there's nothing worse than being uncomfortable at night. And so I haven't quite decided yet, but that's where I'm at. I'm gonna take a chair. Forget who makes this chair. This is my buddy's chair. I'm gonna take it with me. It's got a back on it. Normally I take this guy. It's just like a little stool. And I like this thing because it's super light and small. I'm gonna take it, so one of my other buddies, if he wants to use it, he can use it. But I am planning on using this one. It's a little bit bigger. Probably, again, it's got to fit on the outside of my bag, but not very heavy, and it's got a back to it. And there's something about, like, you know, being in the backcountry and just having the ability to sit in just a normal chair after a couple days. It actually just, you know, serves your brain well. So I'm looking forward to taking advantage of that. Went through water filtration already, but I'm gonna do it again. I carry some of these with me. It's a Life straw, just as a backup in case my other filter breaks or I have a problem, and I could use this instead. So just some other gear that we're going through, some tools for my bow. I carry that with me as well. Backup fire starter. So I showed you that other fire starter earlier. So same thing. This thing arcs, and you just plug it in, charges with the USB, does a pretty good job. And then take a couple headlamps. I tend to overkill in terms of stuff that I bring, but again, once we get back there, we're packing in, you know, it kind of varies, but 3 to 5 miles. And so just, you know, it's kind of a heck of a trip to kind of get back in town to get the battery. So we'll just carry a couple extras. And then where we do go, it is pretty remote. There's no cell phone access. So I've got the Spot X satellite phone. I take this with me. And this is just mainly in case of emergencies. I can text out to my family on it. You do need to do a subscription. There's other stuff that's out on the market besides this one, but this is the one that I have. And again, it's just purely for emergency. And we are in bear country, so I do take some bear spray. Never had to use it, probably won't ever need to, but have that just in case. Do jet boil, and so we'll get into food here in just a second, going through all the rest of my gear here. So I have a jet boil, this thing does well. Couple game bags, hopefully put those to use. Knives, so I like this knife right here. This is an Outdoor Edge, it's the Razor EDC, it's a 3-inch blade. I like them because they're extraordinarily sharp and you get a replaceable blade. And so I have these replaceable blades, just carry those with me. And so that will be my go-to knife for field dressing. And then I've got this big boy here. I think it's done by Gerber, right? This is just a backup knife. It's pretty heavy duty, and it does have a fire starter on it, a couple other things. My wife got it for somebody as a gift years ago, and they gave it back, so making good use of that one there. As far as food is concerned, there's a part of me that, you know, would prefer to eat like royalty out in the woods. I like a good home cooked meal like anybody else, but I also don't like to pack things up, and I don't like having a big mess or spending a lot of time cleaning up. So for me, we just go to the good old freeze-dried meals, and that does really well with the jet boil. You know, just a variety, take your pick. Most of these do really well. I find that when I'm out hunting, I don't need to eat very much as compared to when I'm at home. I'm not exactly sure why. I just, you know, I usually just eat like a meal like once a day, and it does me well, and that's where we're at there. I will take some hand warmers in case it's super cold, some wipes, kind of wipe myself down, have a little bit of a shower. Again, kind of call it a trucker shower, if you will. Again, some wet wipes and that. Stay clean in the afternoons. As far as charger goes, I'm going back and forth on what type of charger I want. I've got one of these power banks. Honestly, I don't know who this is by. This thing weighs like 1,000,000 pounds, but unfortunately, it's just the way these power banks are. We got some camera gear and that we're taking with us. So as an alternate, I am thinking about taking this thing here. It's done by Marlboro, a portable power supply. It's a combo. It does have a flashlight on it, and it has a variety of chargers and plugs. You know, for this trip, I'm not going to need these plugs at all, but the different USBs that are there I could definitely use. And you can hook this thing up to solar, like, you know, solar power if you've got that. But I can't quite decide which one I'm going to take. Honestly, weight-wise, there's no difference. I mean, I think they're about the same. This one's obviously larger, but I am kind of leaning towards this one. So I'm going to be testing that over the next couple days to make sure it doesn't drain too fast. And if it doesn't, then this will be my go-to. Silverware, basic stuff. I like to keep a lot of my gear, so my medical equipment, and just some of the little stuff that I've got. You probably saw some of the little stuff I have here. I like to keep that in these little bags like this. These bags are not necessarily dry bags, but I can store a lot of gear in them, and then you can just fold them down, clip them together, so there's no need for the stuff to get lost or whatever. And I'll categorize my stuff so that I know where my medical stuff is, I'll know where my cleaning stuff is, I'll know where my hunting stuff is, and just kind of keep it all categorized that way. So like these that way. And then I do take everything else, my food and everything like that does go into a dry bag. Like I said, we are in bear country, and so we'll take this and store our food in that, put it up in the tree so we don't have any problems. And fortunately, I've never had a problem in the past, and don't anticipate to have a problem going forward. And last but not least, my bow. This is a Hoyt, so everybody seems to be shooting Hoyts these days. I bought this a couple years ago. This is the Torx X2, and I think I'm shooting, there's a lot of guys that know like all the, intricacies of every single little detail they've got going on with all their bows and what they're shooting and everything like that. I'm not that detailed, to be absolutely honest, but this bow works for me. It's super comfortable, it's light. I think I'm shooting like 65, maybe 70 pounds on it, and this will definitely do the job. So hopefully I don't just have to carry it around in the woods with me. I do have a bow sling that I will use most likely, but sometimes I don't. In fact, I don't even put it. I don't think I have it in here. I don't. So the bow slings, there's a lot of those different ones on the market. I find that when I'm packing in and out, this thing fits really well just on my pack. And then when I'm out hunting, it's not too much to just carry around. So that's what I'm carrying with me with my gear for our elk hunt this year. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful for you guys that are getting ready for a Western big game hunt, a pack-in hunt, or just getting into hunting in general. I've been hunting my entire life, and so compared to what I used to do and what I've got now, you don't necessarily need all of this stuff. But if you are going out into the backcountry for a while, I strongly recommend you do that. And then with water, I guess last but not least, I do store, I've got another one over here, just as an emergency backup. I do store extra water at my truck just in case we need it, and so that'll be there. And then I do have a great big Yeti cooler that I store as well too, but my buddy's out elk hunting right now and he's got that, and so hopefully he's putting that to good use. So happy hunting to you guys. Hope this was helpful, and we'll talk to you again soon.